Every safety standard in the OSHA 10-hour course represents a hard-learned lesson from an active job site. We are going to deconstruct the most critical 29 CFR 1926 standards you need to master to pass the OSHA 10-hour construction outreach exam. The numbers we are dealing with are real. Hundreds of construction workers die on the job every year. A massive 60% of all construction fatalities are caused by just 4 predictable events: falls, electrocution, struck by, and caught in or between hazards. Passing the exam means learning how to anticipate these exact 4 scenarios before they happen on your site. This diagram illustrates Subpart M, covering fall protection. For unprotected edges, the legal trigger is exactly 6 feet. To mitigate that drop, you equip a personal fall arrest system with an anchor supporting 5,000 pounds. On scaffolds, the threshold shifts to 10 feet. This image displays a compliant wooden guardrail system. For the exam, you need to know the specific positioning. Top rails must be installed between 39 and 45 inches from the working surface, with mid-rails installed halfway between the top rail and the platform. This illustration shows an alternative, the safety net system. It breaks falls dynamically and is rigged to structural columns, acting as a passive catch system positioned no more than 30 feet below the hazardous work surface. There is one more major height exception to memorize: steel erection operations. Because of the open nature of structural steel framing, the fall protection threshold pushes even higher, to 15 feet. OSHA does not pick these numbers at random. The required height rules scale based on the inherent instability of the specific working surface you occupy. Let's clarify the difference between the next 2 major hazards. A struck-by incident happens when an object's impact alone causes the injury, like a dropped hammer. A caught in or between hazard involves crushing or compression, where a worker is squeezed between 2 objects. This cross-section shows an excavation trench. At a 4-foot depth, the law mandates a safe means of egress, like a ladder within 25 lateral feet. At 5 feet, dirt walls must be actively secured using protective shoring, shielding, or sloping to prevent a cave-in. Looking upward, electrocution hazards under Subpart K rely on strict spatial awareness. This animation demonstrates the minimum clearance rule. Equipment like this excavator must maintain a strict 10-foot radius from energized overhead power lines. When you are dealing with power sources directly, your secondary lines of defense are ground fault circuit interrupters to prevent shock and lockout-tagout procedures to ensure machinery cannot be energized during maintenance. Survival on a site depends entirely on your ability to visualize and respect these invisible numerical boundaries. The OSHA exam tests your understanding of job site roles. A qualified person has the technical degree or credentials to solve engineering problems. A competent person is authorized to identify hazards and has the immediate authority to stop work and correct unsafe conditions. You also need to know your own legal rights. Under the OSHA Act, you have the right to necessary personal protective equipment, access to your site's injury logs, and a strict 30-day window to report any retaliation for raising safety concerns. These numerical thresholds provide the specific authority needed to stop a hazard before it becomes a fatality report. Wield these standards to keep your crew safe, and subscribe for more safety mastery.